This means everything to me because celebration is one thing, but celebrating the gratitude that brought us to this point. Gratitude, I must say, is we all have to have an attitude of gratitude because gratitude is what brings us joy in life. So we didn't travel this journey by ourselves. We had a lot of people in this room that joined the journey along with us, helped us along the way. And for us to have an opportunity to thank them and pay our gratitude for the last beautiful 15 years, this day means a lot to us.
Congratulations on 15 years and with wishes for scores more successful years, Sam.
I appreciate your friendship and all that you do for me and my clients.
They care deeply about all of their clients.
And I'm glad to be part of this family.
I'm very grateful for Sam and New Wave.
They truly are experts in their field.
They've been so responsive and they're always available to help out my clients.
And he just really made sure that he got good people. And that's, I think, the key, one of the keys to his success. So bravo, Sam. Well done. Honored to be here.
And they've taken really good care of the patients that I share with them. So I'm just really appreciative of their existence, really happy for their success for 15 years.
I'm truly blessed to have worked for him and have him as still part of my life.
And I love using New Wave. They're caregivers. I like to call them unicorns.
I just want to say congratulations to New Wave, Sam, his wife, all the staff. Big accomplishment, 15 years. Long way to come, especially in this industry.
Happy birthday, Sam and New Wave, and congratulations. I hope you guys, keep going strong. Not even the fire can bring down your office. And 15 years later, we'll still be here. Let's keep going.
I love everything about it. Everybody's welcoming. Sam, Royce. I mean, when I started 2 years ago, I think we were like 40, 50 clients. And now we have so many clients.
Congratulations, Sam, for helping the community, especially in Pasadena, for the last 15 years.
Congratulations to Sam and the staff on 15 years. They're a great asset and resource to me.
And I know that New Wave does an amazing job providing for the community. The service that you guys provide not only transforms lives, but it impacts lives.
Thank you. Congratulations. It's a family business. I love that.
They are a pillar in this community of support for families and other professionals in this space. And so I thank Sam and his whole team for always showing up, compassion, care, and ease. So thank you so much. I greatly appreciate your support.
Hello, and thank you for joining us this evening for New Wave Home Care's cocktail reception celebrating 15 years of gratitude. We have a brief program for you this evening, including important recognition as well as our keynote speaker. But first, I'd like to invite founder and CEO Sam Gopinathan to come up to the stage.
I'm sweating. Good evening, everyone. It's truly an honor to stand before you tonight as we celebrate incredible 15 years of gratitude at New Wave Home Care. This evening is not just a celebration of our journey, but a heartfelt tribute to all of you who made it possible. We didn't do it alone. We did it with all of you together. 15 years ago, when we embarked on a mission to make a difference, one family, one client, and one act of care at a time. Along the way, together, we have experienced excitement and uncertainty, triumph and challenges, exhilaration, sadness when a client transitions. At the heart of the celebration is my gratitude for Amma. Amma is our spiritual mother. She's a world-renowned humanitarian, lovingly known as the hugging saint in the West. Amma's unwavering love and wisdom and strength have been a beacon of light throughout our life. Her values shape who we are, and have been a guiding force in the way we approach our mission at New Wave Home Care. Amma often reminds us the foundation of happiness is gratitude. We should hence cultivate an attitude of gratitude. So it's no surprise that we named tonight's celebration 15 years of gratitude. I will share some more details of Amma and her charitable activities later in the evening. As we celebrate tonight, let us reflect on the impact we have made together. Let us also look ahead to the lives we have yet to touch and the opportunities to give us to grow even stronger and more compassionate as an organization. Thank you for being here tonight, for being part of this wonderful, beautiful journey, and for believing in the power of care. Here is to 15 years of gratitude and to the many more years of collective efforts in making a difference that lie ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. We're now excited to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Mitzi Gonzalez, Associate Professor and Director of Translational Research for the Jonah Goldrich Center for Alzheimer's and Memory Disorders at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. She's going to share her research with us about a potential therapeutic path for aging and Alzheimer's disease. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Gonzalez.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much to the organizers for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity to be here and talk to you about Alzheimer's disease and aging. And it's really been an exciting time in Alzheimer's disease research. And so my goal in this presentation is to quickly kind of talk about some of the things that I think are most exciting that have been accomplished in the field, and then some new directions that we're trying to take and go in at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. So with that, I know this goes without saying to everybody in this room, but the impact of Alzheimer's disease is really, truly devastating. And it's pretty sobering to look at the statistics, right? So if we think about lifetime prevalence, 1 out of 10 men are anticipated to get Alzheimer's disease, 1 out of every 5 women. So there's a very high probability that all of us will be touched or impacted in some way, whether it's ourselves having dementia or caring for a loved one with dementia. So I think that this is a cause that we all really need to care about. And of course, we talk about Alzheimer's disease pathology. There's lots of things that are happening in the brain, but if we talk about kind of the 2 key kind of hallmarks of the disease, we have 2 proteins that we've historically focused on. The first one is amyloid beta. So this is a protein that's normally produced in the brain, but amongst individuals with Alzheimer's disease, they either produce too much of this protein or they're not clearing it well enough, and so it forms these sticky plaques that are external outside of the cell, and this can disrupt neural transmission. And then our other player is the neurofibrillary tangles, and these are comprised of tau. This is a really important structural protein, but in the case of Alzheimer's disease, it undergoes some changes in conformation that leads these proteins more vulnerable to collapsing and then aggregating with one another, and ultimately they can cause cell death. And because we've had beautiful, long-standing observational studies now for many, many years, we have a better idea of how the pathology of Alzheimer's disease unfolds. And the first thing that we see, as indicated by that gold line, is we see increases in amyloid beta in the brain. And this can happen up to 20 years before somebody ever develops cognitive symptoms. So these changes take place very slowly, very much over time. The tau deposition reflected by that orange line, that occurs much later, typically within a few years of people actually developing cognitive impairment. And because we know that these are causes, it's really important for us to be able to detect them. And historically, we've had two ways of doing this when someone is alive. So one is positron emission tomography, or PET imaging, and this is where you take a radio tracer that's injected. It binds to the proteins in the brain. In the case of amyloid, somebody with Alzheimer's disease will show diffuse uptake throughout the brain, whereas with tau, you tend to see uptake more specifically in the hippocampus and the temporal lobes that are really affected by the disease. The other option is a lumbar puncture, so that's when there's a thin needle that's stuck into the lower part of the spine, and it takes a little bit of that fluid that surrounds the brain, and then you're able to assay that fluid for protein levels. And so these are good tools, they're very accurate, but they have downsides, obviously. So PET scanners, they're not available everywhere. They're very expensive, and insurance is reticent to cover them in many cases. Lumbar punctures, more affordable. They don't require specialized equipment as much, but they're invasive. I saw some faces of people indicating they may not be too eager. And so that's why I think one of the most exciting things that have happened in our field in the past couple of years is this great progress in the validation of blood-based biomarkers for Alzheimer's disease. This was science fiction, 10 years ago. And now we're at the place where we have these markers that correspond pretty well with amyloid in the brain. And our clinics at Cedars-Sinai, we offer this type of testing for improving differential diagnosis. So this is really exciting. And the reason it's so exciting, because the other landmark development in our field, of course, is these anti-amyloid monoclonal antibodies. And so these are proteins that bind specifically to that amyloid protein in the brain and clear it. And so as you can see from these figures that I pulled from the manuscript on the lecanemab results, these drugs, they're really effective at removing amyloid from the brain. So in that lower plot, you see the blue line of individuals who were not on the drug, the gold line, individuals who were on the drug, clear separation, so lots of clearance of amyloid from the brain. When we look at cognition, we also see separation of the lines over 18 months. And so that's good. This is really exciting. It's the first time we've shown kind of really successful slowing. But the effects are somewhat modest, estimated about a 6-month of slowing in cognitive decline. So it's a huge achievement, but not anywhere where we want to be, right? We want to stop this disease fully. And so that kind of leads us to really take a step back in the field and think about why. Why, if we're targeting one of these core markers, why isn't it more successful? And one possibility is we're starting the treatment too late. As I told you at the beginning, amyloid tends to aggregate about 20 years before someone ever develops symptoms. So it's possible that by the time we're treating people with active disease, that there's been too many downstream changes, too much neuronal loss, and maybe we're not able to effectively treat them. And so you may have heard of the AHEAD study. This is an ongoing study across the country where they're taking adults that have no cognitive impairment but have elevated amyloid levels in the brain, and they're treating them with this therapy. And so they fully enrolled. It'll be a few years till we have these results, but this could be a real game changer. This, if successful, this would encourage all of us to know about our amyloid status, probably just like a colonoscopy, when we turn 45 or 50, and then to get this treatment. So that's one possibility. Another possibility is we're only targeting one part of the pathology that occurs in Alzheimer's disease. So Alzheimer's disease, it's complex. There's many things that go awry in the brain. There's axonal damage, there's synaptic loss, there's inflammation, there's vascular changes, there's tau deposition. So if we're only targeting one part of the picture, we're only targeting amyloid, maybe that's not enough to really fully stop the cascade of the disease. And then thirdly, Alzheimer's disease is just one of many types of dementia, and we know that most people that have dementia, older adults that have dementia, they have multiple pathologies in their brain. And if we're just targeting one of them, that may not be enough. And so this has led us to kind of think about whether maybe we can take a different approach. Rather than just treating one by one all of these different pathologies, maybe we can treat things that are more germane to dysregulation of the brain as we age. And I bring this up because we know there's a lot of things that are associated with Alzheimer's disease that can influence risk. There's certain genetic risk factors, there's certain medical risk factors like midlife diabetes, but by and far, the biggest risk factor is age. So we all want to live long and healthy lives, which is great, but as we live longer, we increase our risk. So after the age of 65, with every 5 years, there's a doubling of risk. And this is something that is not unique for Alzheimer's disease. For most chronic diseases, we see an increase in age. So things like stroke, cancer, heart disease, these do occur more in younger individuals than Alzheimer's do, but you see this very sharp trajectory. And this leads us to think, is there something that's happening in the biological aging process that might be leading to dysregulation across tissues and ultimately increased vulnerability to disease? And this is really what the field of geroscience tries to study, is really trying to understand what are the cellular and molecular components that are associated with diseases across organ systems. This was a landmark paper that came out in 2013, and it identified several kind of key hallmarks of aging that are associated with dysregulation of organ functioning and disease. And what's interesting is, even though geroscience is not my field, it's adjacent to my field, those of us who study the brain have noticed very similar processes of being implicated in accelerated brain aging and Alzheimer's disease. And the reason why this is relevant, the reason why that this is potentially important to all of us, is there have been studies, many of them still in animal models that need further testing in humans, that suggest that we might actually be able to target these mechanisms with certain lifestyle approaches or medications and potentially slow disease progression. And so one of the studies that our team did was focusing on one of those hallmarks of aging, which is cellular senescence. And so cellular senescence, it's a complex cell fate. So when the cell is exposed to some type of stressor, it could be something that's internal, so maybe exposure to a virus of some type, or it could be something external like radiation exposure. This leads the cell to develop changes in its structure and also its function. And most importantly, it develops this really noxious secretome with a lot of inflammation. And then at the same time, they become very resistant to clearance or removal. And so sometimes they're referred to as zombie cells because they're cells that are really hard to get rid of. And if you have enough of these kind of dysfunctional cells and they're secreting these inflammatory factors, then it causes other cells to also start functioning suboptimally. And if you have enough cells that aren't functioning well in a specific organ, you might have diminished functioning and disease. And so we did a very small first in human trial of senolytics amongst individuals with early stage Alzheimer's disease. We found that the treatment was safe, it was well tolerated. We did see evidence that it did penetrate the central nervous system. We saw that it was associated with changes in senescent markers both in the blood and in the central nervous system, suggesting that it's having effects both peripherally and in the brain. And then we found that cognition was stable and there was a trend towards changes in Alzheimer's disease biomarkers. So very small study, more work is currently being done. We have a phase 2 study that's ongoing, so stay tuned for that data. Another kind of key hallmark of aging is mitochondrial dysregulation. If you remember back to high school biology, you might remember being told that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It's really important for generating energy. And mitochondrial dysfunction is something that we see certainly in the brain as we age, more so in the case of neurodegenerative disease. And so some of my colleagues did a study here trying to target this mechanism using nicotinamide riboside, or NAD, and they found again that the treatment was safe. It seemed like it was reaching its target, at least in the periphery. And they found that epigenetic age, which is a measure of biological aging in the blood, seemed to be decreased. And there was some evidence that on an fMRI that there might be some changes in functional connectivity in the brain. So again, more research. And so far I've talked to you about drug approaches, and drugs are certainly going to be part of our answer, but they have side effects. And what else? We know that physical activity is so important, and so is diet. And if you've ever watched the Blue Zones, you're probably familiar that people who live really long, they tend to eat less than the rest of us, and that caloric restriction or intermittent fasting is associated with increased lifespan and also health span, really all the way from yeast, mice, humans. And so we currently have a study that we're just getting ready to launch. We call it the NIBBLE study, our nutritional intervention for body, brain, and longevity effects. And this is a study where we're going to be testing the fasting mimicking diet and looking at its effects on cerebral blood flow and also cognition in middle-aged adults at elevated risk for Alzheimer's disease due to the apolipoprotein E4 allele. And I'm just kind of giving you a sneak peek of some of the work that we're doing at Cedars, but really what we're doing is building a comprehensive program with experts across multiple fields to really lead this research forward. So we have experts in proteomics, experts in clinical care, experts in neuropathology, aging biology, artificial intelligence, and then a big part of our mission too is education and being able to train the next generations of clinicians, researchers, educators, and just to say, all of that we know is, and thanks to people who have given their time and their effort and participated in research. We have lots of different research studies. We have a research registry where people can sign up, learn more about our research opportunities, which could be as simple as donating blood or more involved. And so if you know people that are interested, please refer. And then finally, I just wanted to thank everybody who's been involved in this work. It really does take a village to do it. So thank you to my colleagues, thank you to my funding sources, thank you to all of you for your attention, and most importantly, thank you to the participants and their families.
We'd like to open it up to about 5 minutes of questions. So if you have a question, I think I saw a hand there.
I'm wondering how expensive are the drugs? Are they covered by Medicare? Secondly, how will AI change all of this if that's a known quantity?
Good question. So the experimental drugs that we're testing, so these are only being used for research purposes. So right now they're not covered by insurance. As researchers, we bear the cost of providing them to participants. They are pretty expensive, though, I will say, in many cases. So that is something that we will have to navigate if these medications do become more successful, just as these anti-monoclonal antibody treatments for amyloid, right, are also very, very expensive. AI is something that we have really embraced because it is so important. Right now, we're in an age where we have a tremendous amount of data, but the problem is making sense of all this data. So, I mean, it's pretty incredible what we're able to do now. You know, now at a single cell level, we can run transcriptomics. We can look at changes in thousands of genes, and that's amazing, but it's a ton of data. And so none of us would be able to sit and analyze all this data in our lifetime. So having AI who can do these computations really quickly, have initial kind of discovery models and then validation models, I think is going to be so important. And I think it's going to be really important clinically too as well. There have already been papers showing that. And so I think education on AI is really important too, and something that we need to be building into our training for both researchers and clinicians. Great questions.
Question about the weight loss drugs. Have you been contacted by the liabilities in the Olympic, some of the things that help with the brain reduction in terms of dementia? Where does that come in terms of liability, in terms of like the administrations, the FDA, what you can do, what you can't do, because there's a lot going on right now. What are you restricted in terms of studies and stuff like that?
So the question is about the weight loss drugs that have been produced by companies such as Eli Lilly, and are we examining the effects in the brain? Is insurance covering them? What is the role with FDA? So I think the preliminary data looks really exciting, but always our highest level of proof is what comes out of a randomized control study. Those studies are ongoing, and so I think we really need that data to know for sure whether these medications are helpful in preventing Alzheimer's disease, but the results are encouraging. You know, with the changes in how they're being prescribed, that they can be prescribed for prevention, we're seeing more prescriptions, but it is still something that is challenging to navigate with insurance and payers. And so that is a bigger issue that is going to need to be worked out, and we'll see what comes in the months and years ahead.
Are you guys participating? They reach out to you to participate?
Are we participating in that study? We are not currently participating in those studies.
Yeah, this is kind of a two-part question. So the infusion treatment, is Leqembi one of those?
Yes.
So my understanding is that Leqembi is meant for Alzheimer's type only, right?
Yep.
And then it's for early Alzheimer's only.
That's right.
Correct?
That's right. So it specifically binds to amyloid levels, and that's why we need to know whether someone actually does have the core pathology associated with Alzheimer's disease. It wouldn't make sense to give it to somebody that doesn't have elevations in amyloid levels. And you're absolutely right on about early disease. I mean, if you look at the clinical trial data, the thing that it shows us the most is that starting these treatments earlier tends to be better. With the newer medication, donanemab or Kisunla, that came out recently, they actually kind of stratified the groups based on tau levels in the brain as a proxy for how progressed people were. And the earlier that they were, the less tau in the brain, the less other pathology, the more successful. And if they stratify between mild cognitive impairment and Alzheimer's disease, they find people with mild cognitive impairment do better. And so I think this is really important and really speaks to why having knowledge about dementia in the community, of talking about it, of talking about new screening methods, educating people is so important, because the earlier we can get people who are eligible connected to treatment, the better.
One last question.
If there were 3 or 4 things that you would recommend to all of us to do to postpone Alzheimer's, what would they be?
Ooh, great question. I like that question. Well, so most important, choose your parents very well. I'm just kidding. But otherwise, I would say, what do we know in terms of the literature? Physical activity, super important, keeping, vessels pliant and getting good blood flow to the brain. So that's huge. Getting good sleep. Sleep is really important for clearance of amyloid levels in the brain, so making sure you're prioritizing your sleep. Socialization and just being active, that old adage, if you don't use it, you lose it. We kind of really saw that during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm sure many of you did, seeing how quickly people declined when they were no longer going out and living their lives. So I would say that is also really, really important. So yeah, thank you for that question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gonzalez. That was really interesting, and we appreciate you sharing your research with us. I'd now like to invite Sam back up to the podium.
A huge celebration of 15 years of gratitude. It's something that Sam has been talking about for 5 years now, and I'm just excited that the day has arrived, that we can just spend time with those that have helped us reach this milestone.
I feel very privileged to be a part of this awesome team. This is what we live for, is to care for our seniors, and so we're privileged to do that.
And I'm just happy to be here today. I'm grateful to be a part of this wonderful company.
Today is Sam's 15-year gratitude party with New Wave Home Care. I am grateful and blessed to be a part of this organization for a little over 2 years now. I have known Sam for over 15 years. I've always respected him, admired him, and watched him grow his business. And so excited to be a part of the adventure that we are on at this time with the growth spurt that we're having.
So today means 15 years of continuous supporting of the senior community.
I would say gratitude, like Sam would always say, always says. And 15 years is a lot for any kind of company to start from the bottom and reach what he has reached to now. And I can, understand that he's going to go even beyond that. So today is just a special day.
And I think it's fabulous that we're celebrating their 15th year anniversary. Sam had a great vision. He put together a great staff, and the result is a fabulous company.
You are one of the most wonderful people that I know, and that's all I can say. Excuse me.
That's a lot for him. Hi, Sam. Celebrate. It's time to celebrate. Yay. So glad to be here with you. Love you.
And we're so thrilled to be here for New Wave's 15th anniversary celebration, which they're so graciously donating to all of these wonderful causes. If I had to define it in a few words, it would be service, humility, and just a different way at looking at patient care. And it's just absolutely wonderful, and we're thrilled to be here. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for the contributions that you've given to our community. We are so grateful for having this partnership and having you all in the community along with us, serving the very necessary population that is with older adults and caregivers.
Appreciate your kindness and friendship, and I look forward to another at least 40 years.
I am so proud and happy to be part of this gathering. Sam Gopinathan and New Wave Home Care. And Sam is a special person. He's a giver. Everything about his company is giving and providing that unique care for the individual families that he deals with. But Sam is a person, is such a warm, giving person. It's always about, what can I do for you, Kenny? What can I do for you, this person and that person? And just a soothing, great guy. On top of being intelligent and writing books and being an engineer background, and he's much smarter than me, not as good looking, and he's definitely not a better golfer. But I'll tell you one thing, he's a great guy. The company's class act, gold standard when it comes to home custodial care. It's because he's awesome. So thank you very much, Sam, and everybody. God bless.
But everything I've read, everything I've seen tells me that he has the biggest heart. And we appreciate you. We appreciate everything that you're doing for the wildland community and for the people that you serve. So thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Dick Myers. I'm the president of the board of Pasadena Village, and I want to say that we really appreciate our association with New Wave and with Sam. It's a wonderful association, and we're very happy to be part of what they're doing, and they be part of what we're doing.
You know, Sam, we are partners in crime. You are absolutely right, and it is a joy to work alongside you and Brenda Shorkin and your team to take care of our clients to the best of our ability and make their lives better for it.
Before I give my thanks for tonight, I want to take a few minutes to talk about the charities we support. I talked a little bit about Amma earlier on. Embracing the World is the charity that I have been part of for a really long time. They do relief and rehab work, children's camps, financial contribution totaling about 46 million so far. So when tsunami hit the Southeast Asia, this was back in 2004, I was in India at that time, and I got an opportunity to be part of this wonderful organization firsthand. The relief work was not just for the immediate aftermath of the tsunami. It followed through for the next 10, 15 years, building homes, rebuilding the lives of the people who were affected by tsunami. During that time, Amma constructed almost 6,000 homes. About 600 fishing boats were given back to the fishermen and things like that. So we have been very grateful to be part of Embracing the World and supporting Embracing the World in every way we can. And the next one I want to talk about is MAPS Charities. I'd like to invite Sue Pomeranz. We have a check for you. And before I forget, Jaya, can you join me? MAPS Charities does some wonderful work for the older adults in the LA County. And the next one, do we have Mark Watterson here today from Convalescent Aid Society? Yeah, Kim. Convalescent Aid Society has been here for more than 100 years and supporting the community with medical equipment. Thank you, Kim, for being here today. And
this was totally unplanned.
With the recent wildfires, we all have, in some way or the other, experienced what it means to be, friends who have been affected by fire. Some of you have been affected by fire. We talk about firefighters as our heroes, and they are. However, we may not realize that our heroes can get hurt. Their home can burn down. They could lose their lives. We wanted to honor one such foundation which takes care of the fallen heroes. Wildland Firefighters Foundation is one of those national foundations who serve our fallen heroes. They have supported 950 families in 2024, gave close to $1 million in grants in 2024, conducted 89 community events to honor bravery and sacrifices, crisis supports 120 emergency cases, and they raised $2.5 million in grants in 2024. Dina Pfeiffer, we have a check for you. Would you please come up?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Frankie.
And Dina, please don't go. There were a few more guests who had brought some checks for you. So I'm going to call on Swati Mova. She has a check from MS Center for Wildland Firefighting Foundation. And we have a check from a donor who wishes to remain anonymous. Janet, would you please bring the check for. And Dana is going to be here for some more time, so if anybody else want to connect with Dana, I would highly encourage. This is such a wonderful foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you. I feel truly humbled just looking at you and to stand in front of you all. This is a momentous occasion for New Wave Home Care. It feels like yesterday that we began this journey. My heart is filled with gratitude at just looking at you all. You who have been partners in this journey with us. 15 years ago, when my wife Jay and I decided to start this business, I was unemployed. I lost my job in September 2009 during the last recession. We didn't have much money to invest in this venture, but had a dream and a courage to pursue it. We put in our lifetime savings into this business that we knew nothing about. And we reached out to our friends and families, friends like Swati and Sundar Mova, my friend George K. George, my brother-in-law Jay Chandran, my in-laws. They were all incredibly helpful. They never asked when I would pay back. They just asked me how much I needed and simply signed a check. My friend George, he handed me few blank checks, signed it, gave it to me and said, just fill out. When you need money, just fill it out and take whatever you need. When they did this, they did not know if our efforts would succeed or fail, or if we would ever pay it back or not. That did not matter to them. They were just invested to see us succeed. That's friends and families. They give you the shoulder to lean on and strength to move on. I do not have enough words to describe my gratitude. Out of everyone, only Swati could be here today. Swati, could you stand up, please? She's my sister. Thank you, Swati. Thank you, George. Thank you, Jayan, and thank you to Jaya's parents for supporting us. As we gather here to celebrate the 15 incredible years, I'm overwhelmed with a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude not just for the milestones we achieved, there have been plenty, but gratitude for the people who have been the heart of this journey, you all. First and foremost, I want to express my heartfelt thanks to our referral partners. Back in 2010, when I started the business, I was a complete rookie. As a mechanical engineer, I knew nothing about this business. My very first client came through Lorraine Cummings, who not only gave me a client, but she also had to calm my nerves. And I was so nervous. Teach me along the way. And I also have Andrea Torres, who worked on my first client here. Andrea, would you stand up? Andrea, she's an entrepreneur now herself. She owns 2 companies, and she has done exceedingly well. Barb Kovacic was the first fiduciary we worked with, and she introduced me to the fiduciary world. I used to panic when something went wrong. I still do. If things didn't go as planned, I panicked. Barb taught me something very invaluable. It's okay to make a mistake. What you do after that, that's more important. Pat Barr was the first court-appointed conservator I worked with. She taught me all about situation room approach, crisis room approach to protect the client from the bad guys. And oh boy, did we have bad guys to protect from? Plenty of that. Brenda Shortkind, she taught me all about Brenda Shortkind taught me all about collaborating with other professionals to create a better village for our older adults. Mary Venus taught me all about building a business bigger than myself. Lorianne, you taught me all about documenting every step of the way. The list goes on and on. I could, in reality, call out names of each and every one of you in this room, and there is something you taught me. Thank you. We wouldn't be here today but for your support, your confidence in our abilities, your commitment to helping and supporting another fellow professional. There is something else I wanted to acknowledge. I was simply amazed to see and learn your integrity and your commitment to serve. Your values shaped our values. The fact that I could learn not just the details of the profession, but the core values too from you all, this is simply amazing. Your belief in what we stand for inspires us to push boundaries, and your recommendations have made a profound difference in the lives of the families we serve. More importantly, the friendship. We celebrate each other's birthdays, check in with each other, hang out with each other. Thank you for accepting me into your world. To our clients and their families, thank you for welcoming us into your homes and your lives. We were strangers on day one, family thereafter. The trust you place in us is a gift that we cherish deeply. Over the years, we had the privilege of witnessing your strength, your resilience, and courage. Each of you have inspired us to strive for excellence and never to lose sight of our commitment to compassionate, person-centered care. To our caregiving staff, you are the backbone of who we are. Day in and day out, you show up with dedication, compassion, and a heart full of care. You make a difference not only in the lives of our clients, but in the lives of the families of the client as well. With the recent wildfire, that's a perfect example. You once again proved how good you are. You took ownership in evacuating 23 clients on a single night. One of our caregivers dropped off the client at 11 in the night, went home, and she got evacuated herself. When any of our clients passed, you held their hands and cried with the family. The families invite us to their services. You grieved like it was your own family. How can I ever be thankful to such beautiful minds and such beautiful people? Gratitude is memory when is stored in the heart and not in the mind. Lionel Hampton. And to my admin team, I have been very fortunate, very blessed with a wonderful team. This recent wildfires were a perfect example. Our team evacuated several clients. Some of the evacuations were done right in the middle of the raging fires. They risked their lives. They left their families behind and made sure all our clients were safe. After the fires, we had a significant high number of call-outs from caregivers because they were evacuated themselves, so they couldn't come to work. Yet, you staffed every single client. Thank you for that. Even when someone who was not our client needed our help, we staffed it and took care of the client. You are my true heroes. Janet is our first employee and is still with us. You know, I call her the first employee, but my youngest son, he disagrees. He was 10 years old back then. He would sit in the back when we were doing caregiver interviews and things like that. After the interview is done, he'll come and give me feedback, right? And he claims he was the first employee, and he emphasizes, I never paid him. Janet will be celebrating her 15th anniversary later with us. Janet, I have no idea how you survived all these years with me. You may know a lot of my team members by name and the voice, but may not have had the opportunity to put face to the names. I'm going to call out the name of my team. Please come and join me here so that you can meet them all. Royce, Susan, Tony, Janet, Veena, Stacy, Cheska, Carla, Jennifer, Lupe, Claire, Ray, Monica, Angie, Becky, Jolyn, and Raymond.
Sam, we got bigger.
You are the magic that holds everything together. Your hard work behind the scenes ensures that our operations run smoothly, and your passion for our mission keeps us moving forward. Thank you for being the engine that drives our vision. And you entrusted me with the most difficult job, to take credit for everything you do. I am honored and humbled by this responsibility. Also present here is some of our former employees. Andrea, you already met. Swati, she was here, she left because she has a young baby. Anne, would you stand up? Thank you for coming, and thank you for being a part of this journey. Also, part of our team are our vendors or the businesses that supports us. Our CPA, our insurance agents, computer support. You already met Robert. Attorneys, wealth managers, our third-party administrators, our bankers. The list goes on and on. And not many of you know it, but when I started the business, I didn't have much money to even buy computers. And Robert back then even gave me reconditioned computers that I could use. Thank you, Robert. You have all been exceptional in your support, and our gratitude goes to you for who you are and for your support. And I want to give a shout out to Bonnie. She's standing right there in the red shirt.
And here I am at a big event that I'm doing for New Wave Home Care, and it just means the world to me for Sam, and he's just the greatest.
Bonnie is the face behind the cameras today. She's put the whole team together, and she traveled all the way from Florida to be here with us today. Thank you, Bonnie. The recent wildfires that caught LA by surprise burned down more than 12,000 structures, displaced more than 300,000 families, and lost more than 24 lives. With the heat and fire, all the structures around our office burned. The Jewish temple, the terraces, Two Palms, nursing home, Altamed, McDonald's, they all burned down. Pasadena Park in front of our office burned down partially. Our gratitude to the brave firefighters who saved not just our office, a lot of homes and a lot of lives. Thank you to the brave firefighters. As a good corporate citizen and a proud member of this community, in the last 15 years, we have been able to contribute more than $15 million in taxes to the local, state, and the federal government. I wish I could get that money. I could retire now. During this time, we have exceeded more than 3 million hours of care and generated employment for thousands of employees over this period. This has been our dream, to develop an organization that is far bigger than a small person like me. This wonderful community in Pasadena has been so welcoming to a rookie like me and supported me in every sense and welcomed me as one of their own. So to our community, thank you for embracing us. Thank you for embracing New Way Home Care and supporting our work. My heartfelt gratitude to this wonderful community. Speaking of community, I would like to give a shout out to the staff of Terraces of Park Marino. Sam Baum and your colleague, would you please stand? On Jan 7th, when the fire started in Eaton Canyon, it spread really fast. The fire reached Terraces quickly. The staff who worked at the Terraces of Park Marino, they were the real heroes. They made transport arrangements to safely evacuate all the residents and help residents of Pasadena Park, Twin Palms. They worked tirelessly to make sure all the residents were safely evacuated. And they did something better. After all these clients moved into other assisted living facility, these staff went to those assisted living facilities to visit them to make sure they are all right. That's love. Thank you. Jay is going to kill me if I ask her to join me again.
Come on, Jaya.
To my family, my lovely wife of 32 years, Jaya, would you stand up? Our two sons, Ashwin and Aditya, they both are in law schools. They couldn't be here today. Thank you for your constant support, understanding, and encouragement. You have been the rock during this incredible journey. I could not have achieved anything without your support. Both Jay and I were very fortunate to have been raised by loving parents. They raised us with good values and determination to face life. So my gratitude goes to my parents and Jay's parents for making us who we are today. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings us peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Melody BT. As we celebrate this milestone, let us also look ahead to the future. There is still so much work to be done, and so many lives to touch, and so many opportunities to make a difference. With gratitude as our guiding principle, I'm confident we will continue to grow, evolve, and serve our purpose. Closing thoughts to everyone here tonight. Thank you for being a part of our journey. Thank you. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your partnership. Thank you for your friendship and your belief in what we stand for. As we commemorate 15 years of gratitude, let us reaffirm our commitment to care, compassion, and community. Here's to many more years of making a meaningful impact together. Thank you all. And if anyone hasn't gotten their green screen picture yet, please do that with your favorite Pasadena background. We want to send a picture framed back to you, so please take the opportunity to take the picture. Thank you all for coming. Have an excellent night.
Pleasure and a privilege to work with Sam. He's a consummate entrepreneur. He has a very clear vision that comes out of his core values of compassion, and he is deeply committed to it. He not only wants to serve his clients in the best possible fashion and be the best in his industry, but he loves growing employees, giving them opportunities, and creating a company which is just a tremendous asset to the whole community. So it's really wonderful having a chance to work with him. And so here's to another 15 years.
I've been connected to Sam through the Aging Life Care Association, and he's been such a blessing to our industry. He truly understands care management. He supports us in any capacity that he can, and we know that he's somebody that we can really rely on when our clients need in-home care. I know that your success is a true testament to the heart that you have for service. I see it anytime that we're together, and it's such a meaningful experience to understand that the team that you've created has the same values and the same mission that you do. So thank you so much for everything you do to our community.
We're super grateful for Sam and all of his team, incredible people that he has on board. And I have to say, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again and again, the heroism and the extreme support and the crazy conditions and the situations that he helped our clients through and a multitude of other clients, it just warms my heart. I mean, we're so grateful that his team stepped in and up like they did. So congratulations, Sam. It's not a surprise. You're at 15, and here's to 15 more. Woo!
Yeah, congratulations, Sam and the team. We love working with you guys, all behind the scenes, and amazing job what you've done in the last 15 years.
Congratulations, Sam and team. I am new to Mary's team, and the warmth and care and type of service you guys have provided just stand out. And I know from personally caring for an elderly, what you guys provide, you'd be my first go-to on that, and I'm so impressed. And I can just feel it from all of you. So thank you. So grateful for what you do. Congratulations. Yeah.
This real special thing about him that he really cared about the people. I love Sam. The team he has assembled, it's just amazing. Honestly, it's an all-star team. It's all of the best and brightest and the most caring and compassionate people in all of the industry. And he brought them all in under one roof.
Hi, everyone in New Wave. I just want to say congratulations on 15 years. I am so proud of you guys and happy for you. You guys are the best. You're like our family. And thank you for all that you've done and all the help and support that you've given us throughout the years. And also everything that you're doing for the community and everybody that was affected by the wildfires. You are in my heart always, and I love you guys so much. Mwah.